At the end of World War II, the French army knew they needed to design a heavy tank that could deal with the advanced tanks they had encountered with the German army. The first tank designed was the ARL-44, but because of the many problems with this tank's design, the AMX M4 was introduced. This tank also lagged in its original design because of the weak armor and turret. The AMX company redesigned the AMX M4, increasing the armor and installing a novel oscillating turret. This resulted in the first AMX 50-100 prototype. In the 1950s, instead of using a 90mm gun, a 100mm gun was fitted. There was also a second prototype made of the AMX 50-100 with a different turret but still carried the 100mm gun. The two prototypes were given a 1,200 horsepower engine. One was diesel and one was gasoline. After many tests with these engines, they failed to deliver the speed wanted by the French, only going up to 52 kilometers an hour. The AMX 50-100, though an improvement from the AMX M4, it still lacked the advancements of the American and British tanks. Eventually, a redesigned AMX 50-100 was made. It was called the AMX 50-120. What's up everyone, WizardKen here with another Xbox 360 World of Tanks video. Now today we're going to be talking about the AMX 50-100. Now I've repeated myself a lot on the historical background of the AMX because I wanted to point something out before we start really getting into this tank, is that the French really had a big imagination of what they wanted their tanks to be, but it was one of those imaginations that they weren't quite going to get to. Everything from the ARL all the way up to AMX 50-100, even the AMX 50-120, when I get to that, and we'll talk about that on when we get it. But it just seemed like the French really wanted a heavy tank that was fast. I mean, when we talked about the engines and that they were 1,200 horsepower and they were doing speeds of 52 kilometers an hour, really, how is that a bad speed for a heavy tank? That's pretty good for a lot of these heavy tanks that were out there. But of course, the French wanted to be superior again on, on building tanks. Before World War II, the Russians were first and they were second. But when the Germans invaded, they really saw the devastation of that. They were not really one of the best tank builders out there. That the Germans had really had better advanced tanks than they had. And the sad thing about these tanks right here is that there were some good plans and good ideas that were thrown out there. It's just the French really had strict guidelines to go by. I think they had to stay, every tank had to stay within 60 tons, and a lot of these tanks, because of that, suffered the armor that the French said that they wanted to have. They wanted to have thicker armor, but it would make them heavier. It would make them less maneuverability, or less maneuverable, sorry. They also wanted them to have a big gun, but, they wanted to change up, like, how quickly they could fight or shoot their gun off, and which allowed them to start building the autoloaders, but which is actually pretty cool because the French were really the first ones to get the autoloaders really working right. The Americans were still trying to figure that out. So they did accomplish a couple of cool things while trying to build these tanks. But to be honest with you, they spent a lot of time and resources trying to accomplish something that wasn't going to happen because they had unrealistic goals that weren't ever going to be matched at that time. Of course, later down the road, they could probably have built these things the way they wanted to in a realistic manner, but back in the 40s and 50s, it was just unrealistic. The technology wasn't really there and stuff like that. I mean, I know a lot of World War II opened up a lot of people's eyes, a lot of countries' eyes, to really sitting there and saying, hey, if shit like this happens again, we need to be prepared. I mean, we thought we were badasses, but Jesus Christ, one country almost took over the world, and they put a lot of us to our knees. And I think that's really what shook up a lot of design process and demands that could never be reached, because everybody was paranoid something like this could happen again very quickly. Anyways, let's start talking about this tank. I thought it was just really interesting to just the patterns that the French took on building these tanks. Now, of course, prototypes of these tanks were made, tested, and of course, eventually pretty much scrapped and rebuilt again to make a newer series, like the AMX 5100 went to the AMX 5120. Now, the hit points on this tank is 1,400, which isn't bad. The price of this tank is pretty expensive. It was like, I can't remember, 2 mil or something like that. It's something ridiculous. Anyways, the speed limit on this thing is about 51, like they were talking about. Historically, they got up about 51, which is really nice. This tank is has a very good mobility to it. When we get to the AMX 5120, the historical part of that tank is it was very mobile. You know what? The French actually thought that was going to be the new European tank. So, to be honest with you, the AMX 5100 I thought was a pretty neat tank. I just think they had problems with the turret design and stuff like that. Anyways, the whole armor on this thing is 90 in the front, 35 on the side, and 30 on the back. And the turret armor is 90, 30, 30. Now, a lot of you will sit there and say, wow, that's a decrease from the last. It kind of is. You know, they're trying to design a newer tank off of an old body, and it kind of sucks. And like I said, they had a lot of restrictions from the AMX company, had a lot of restrictions from the French army, and no matter what they did, they were either going to sacrifice armor for speed, or they were going to sacrifice speed for armor. Like I said, the technology wasn't really there, and the French really hadn't had a great run with heavy tanks because they've never really done one before. The view range on this thing is 380 meters. The let's see, the traverse on the tracks is 32 degrees a second, and that is the same as the turret's degree, which isn't bad at all. And the signal range is pretty awesome, 750 meters, so you could pretty much pick up anything around this map, around most maps and stuff like that. The chances of fire on this thing is about 20%, but to be honest with you, I rarely catch a fire on this thing. It's mostly getting ammo racked and stuff like that, but we'll talk about that as we look at the armor and different things like that. So let's go ahead and start talking about the weaknesses of this tank. Right now, I have the 100mm on this. I've been playing this tank a lot before, you know, I actually recorded this video. Unfortunately, I was screwed up because I got a new equipment, the Elgato. I thought it was going to be an easy, you know, setup and working process, and actually it was a lot harder than my other thing. And to come to find out that there is software problems that other people are having with this Elgato, so it's one of those things that are going to have to be worked out with the company over time. So it's like these AAA things, you know, games that are coming out. They're great, they come out, but they have so many problems that you can't even play them until they patch them like 5 times. Anyways, enough venting about new games. The AMX 5100, like we talked about, is very weak on the armor. I mean, you're going to have to really angle this tank to do anything, but there are some spots on here that no matter what you do, you're going to get shot. Starting on the upper plate, of course we know the lower plate is going to be a shitty spot. I mean, it is angled, and I have ricocheted the lower plate, but not very often. And even the upper plate, I don't ricochet very often unless it's lower tier than when I'm playing. Now on the right side of the hole, you could see there's a viewport on the top, and that is where your driver's going to be. So that is an easy spot to shoot. If you shoot anywhere from there on down, is a nasty spot to hit the driver, which I've had my driver knocked out a good amount of times on this tank, so that is pretty easy. Now on the left side is another viewport area, and that's going to be like, you know, like the gunner and stuff like that kind of thing. Now, this turret is pretty much the same thing as basically like the T-57 turret. They took pretty much the same design as the T-57 and tried to make it better. Eventually, they do figure it out with the 120 millimeter, but this turret is pretty much the T-57 reincarnated as a French one. So you're going to have problems with the turret ring, just like the T-57. It's very easy to shoot out the turret ring. It'll make this thing go a hell of a lot slower or even knock it out. So all the way around this thing, the turret ring is easy. Even though you can't see it, it is very easy to penetrate that round smiley-faced area right underneath the gun. Now, one thing that these pictures won't show is on the left side and the right side of the tracks. Just like on the Churchills, that's an easy spot to hit and also damage this tank. At the top of the turret, as we look at this thing, there are a couple other spots that are really easy to penetrate, in the sense of, you know, every time you hit them, they're going to pen. But they are harder to hit in the sense that they're small. They're just small spots. So, of course, the commander hatch is an easy spot to hit, but it is rounded. You will ricochet a little bit here and there. You can hit this little gun port on the top where you have these two machine guns sticking out. That's an easy spot to kind of hit. Now, you can see, like, on the side where the turret is allowed to rotate up and down, there's, like, these big round cylinders on both sides. And they are actually easy spots to hit, too, if you're shooting at the turret. Pretty much, I mean, the turret is rounded. It's very rounded. It's like a smiley face going all the way around. There's no real just flat spots on this. It's pretty nice design, but because of the lack of armor and stuff, it is very easy to pen. I have been penned there very easily. And even the front upper plate is very angled, but it's very easy to pen. So, really, to be honest with you, the AMX 5100 did not increase in armor. You know, as we talked about the AMX M4, it really, to be honest with you, still needs to be a supportive tank. It needs to stay in the back and play it safe. So let's move to the side. Now, looking to the side of this thing, there are a lot of easy spots. As you can see, the tracks are wide open. So starting at the tracks near the hull, that front wheel of the tracks, the main wheel, is going to be easy to shoot out and track the person and also damage them. On the rear, the same thing. Now, moving up to the center part of the hull, you can see where there's two like rucksack kind of things, or even tarps to go over this tank. Right in that area basically is the engine. Of course, a great spot to shoot and fuck this tank over in the sense of catching it on fire and stuff like that. Now, moving to the center and then back down to the tracks. If you look dead at the center of this tank on its side and then at the track level, that is a good spot to shoot if you want to ammo rack this tank. Now, it is a little harder to ammo rack this tank shooting it at the hull, because you got to go through the tracks. As you can see, there's not a lot of space through there to really ammo rack this thing there. So I would recommend, if you're going to ammo rack this thing, aim for the fat wing on the back, you know. Just like on the T-57, they hold a lot of their ammunition up there. It is a good spot to sit and shoot at if you want to try to ammo rack this thing. Also, like we said, where those pins are on the side that allow the turret to adjust up and down is a great spot to shoot. Anywhere on the side of the turret is going to be a pretty nasty spot to hit. And of course, you've got that turret ring that's pretty exposed to shoot at. Now, on the back of this tank, of course, same thing on the hull. This whole fat ass area is going to be a nice spot to, you know, catch this tank on fire. You know, take out the engine. The engine, I have had the engine go on this thing very easily. Catching on fire, no, but engine takeouts is very easy. Now, moving on to the back of the turret. Now, the whole turret is on the back end. It's very easy to hit. You can hit the commander's hatch on the top. Pretty much that whole winged area is a nice spot to ammo rack. Like if you shoot in the middle of it, you're not going to ammo rack it. I mean, you could with an HE round, because of course it's going to explode inside and be pretty nasty. But yeah, this whole back area of this turret is just going to be shit. In the sense of ricocheting anything, it's going to be an easy hit. Now, of course, moving to the side of the tank, same thing as the other side. The back wheel and the front wheel, the turret of the tracks are going to be easy to shoot off and then also damage this tank. As we said, the ammo is stored near the bottom of the hull and also on the top of the turret. I recommend shooting the top of the turret if you want to try ammo racking this thing. Plus, you know, with the HE rounds and shooting at the turret, you're going to take out a commander, you know, a gunner. You're going to take out ammo, you know, you're going to do some ammo rack damage. You're going to do some nasty damage. If you're in an FV, I'd highly suggest trying to aim for the turret on this thing. You're going to have a better chance of fucking this thing over that way. Of course, the rear of the hull is going to be an easy spot to shoot and take out the engine and stuff like that. Pretty much looking at this entire tank, it is just a massive weak spot. This is why the French were so picky with the armor, is because when they saw the prototype, they were like, no way, you know, this thing just does not have the armor that they're still looking for. And the problem is because they're so picky with the armor, they're also picky with the speed, and they're being crappy about one or the other. You know, either get the speed or get the armor. They just didn't have the technology to have the bigger, you know, engines, and also the different gearing, and of course the suspension and the wheels and how they're designed also affects how these tanks are mobile, their mobility down the tracks, because they really wanted to have a tank. To be honest with you, the mobility wasn't just because of speed, but because of the terrain in Europe and stuff like that, the hills and everything. They wanted to be able to get through things easily and quick and get to their destination as quickly as possible. And you know, and that's understandable. You know, you want a reliable tank that's not going to get stuck every fucking 5 minutes, kind of thing. So anyways, let's talk about the packages on this thing. Now, we do have the, like I said, the 100mm on this thing. And we're going to talk about the, you know, the tank without any upgrades on it, the standard tank. Now, you get the 90mm, which does 7 rounds a minute. Does 170 in penetration, 240 in damage. Now, not a bad little thing. Does an accuracy of 37 and aiming time of 3 seconds. 3 seconds does take a little while to get going. Now you will have this does take a little bit to upgrade the AMX 50, the 90mm. This is the tier 8 90mm that you got on the AMX M4. You do have to pay for this one because you are upgrading the engine on this one, so it does kind of suck that you have to wait to get your 90mm, but or your bigger 90mm. Now this one does still the rate of 7 rounds a minute. It does do a nice penetration of 212 and 240 damage. If you get to use this thing and not free XP all the way through, it isn't a bad barrel. It's still pretty decent even against tier 9s. Tier 10s you're gonna have a little bit more difficulty, but tier 9s it's still not that bad. It's still a pretty decent gun. Now it does go to 0.3. Just the accuracy goes from 0.37 to 0.36 to 0.41, which is a nasty fluctuation on this tank. That's kind of nasty to have. Moving to the last barrel or last gun, it does get a little bit better with the accuracy, 0.34 to 0.36. So a little bit better accuracy than previously. You're not going to have too much of a stray here and there. I don't usually have a problem with it. Now, your rate of fire does go down to 5.42 rounds a minute. Technically, you do get 6 rounds in this gun. Or, yeah, in this gun, because it is an autoloader. All these are autoloaders once you buy the tank. It is not, you know, you're not having to reload every couple seconds and this and that. This is a nasty autoloader, but once you get to the 100mm, the 90mm is about, I want to say, 38 seconds. Once you get the 100mm, it is almost a minute long, 48 seconds to reload. This is a bitch reload. Your crew needs to be up on their, you know, reloading and skills to help reduce that a little bit, but you don't get a gun ramming drive because this is an autoloader. You don't get those on here. You still get a vertical stabilizer and stuff like that, and gun laying drive to help with the accuracy and aiming time a little bit better. But yeah, the 48 seconds does suck, but you do still get 6 rounds. The 90mm got 6 rounds. This one gets 6 rounds. It's really fucking sweet. Also, look at the penetration. You go up from 212 to 232, and I can't remember the damage on the last one, but this one does 300 in damage, which is really sweet. It does a nice amount of penetration and a nice amount of damage, and with 6 rounds, that's pretty nasty. I mean, you're looking at 1,800 damage if you get every single round off, and you only roll a 300 damage, and that's not including ammo racking and getting those extra high rolls and stuff like that. So not bad at all in the sense of being able to do a good amount of damage. Now, I said that this tank is mobile. It does do 51 kilometers an hour, and it also does you know, a really good traverse speed of 32. You can get in and out of situations very quickly. So all in all, I think this tank is pretty sweet tank. As I stated before, there are a lot of flaws with this tank, but if you keep it back and you use it as a supportive tank and snipe with this thing, you will do just fine. I like to go into situations, and we'll do some videos on it. The first couple videos were kind of shit on this intro part because I was just getting bad games after bad games, but hopefully we can show off really the mobility of this tank, because I like getting in there. I could shoot up some people and then I get the fuck out of there. It's really quick on retreating and then getting back into the fight. The crew is the same crew as the M4, and we got a couple of heat rounds for just on standby, just in case, but I really don't use them unless I really have to, because that 48-second reload is a bitch. Small repair kit, small first aid, and a manual fire extinguisher is what we've put on this tank. Equipment. The only thing I have is that vertical stabilizer and enhanced gun laying drive. Now, the other thing that I would recommend possibly putting on this tank is the toolbox, just to help repair things a lot quicker. Right now, I'm not going to buy one, but because I'm, you know, getting on my ways to getting to the next tank, we'll look at that real quick. I'm about at 1,220 for the next tank, so that doesn't, I mean, that seems like a lot, but for me, it's not going to take me very long to get there. Anyways, so let's take this thing out and put it to the test. Alrighty guys, we're on the Abbey Standard Battle. Not particularly a good map for me to be on. We are top dog, and the only thing really I don't want to see is really the T-32. Everything else isn't too bad. But anyways, I wanted to apologize real quick, guys, just for, you know, this last week, just not uploading as much as I have, and just not being as talkative on the comments and stuff like that. It's just, ever since I got this Elgato, I've been wanting to get it to work. If I sit there and just let it, you know, I fix on it here and there, I'm never going to get it working right. Like, it's just going to be crap. And I really need it to get working, so I could live stream, and also I could record with it. And I'm actually recording with it now, so I think I figured out most of the stuff that's wrong with it. The other stuff I can't fix because it's actually a software issue, and I've looked a lot of this stuff up. Other than that, it's a really awesome machine. There's a lot of cool things that I can use on it. It's just, in the end, yeah, there's just software issues that really need to be addressed and fixed. So KV1S, and what is this? Pershing. He's gonna stay back there. Can I hit him? Yeah, I probably bounced it. Yeah, I was hoping for the best. There's somebody shooting from right there. Who's that? I don't know. I'm just trying to hit a spot. It's probably that fucking AT-15. Yeah. T-32, you're not going to be able to do anything until... What happened to the IS-3? Did he kill himself? That stupid son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're gonna have to back up, dude, because there's not much we're gonna be able to do. And we got Artie coming after us. I'm not staying here. Not gonna stay here. They're pounding the shit out of us. Wow. Wow. T-71 survived because George Washington just saved his ass. Yep. Somebody fucking saw me. Because... Yep. I'm gonna die. Probably gonna die. Gotta get out of here. That was some bullshit. That was some big bullshit. Jesus Christ. Whoever hit me hard fucking sucks balls. Alright, well the Pershing's gone. Now, who the fuck is down there? Come on, T-21. Yes, I know, but I can't do anything for you, dude. Really can't. That T-32 who's being a little vagina right now is, yeah. Of course, it's a RHM. The other bastard I should have said I was worried about, because, yeah. That's a nasty tank. Alright, moving away. Going to leave this place behind, 'cause I don't want to die. No, no. Magically, the fucking Artie knows where I'm going. Awesome. I love it. Love everything about it. Really do. You know what? I'm not gonna stay right here. That fucking Jumbo Sherman is coming, and... Oh, there he is. He's up there. Huh? Maybe it's just RHM I'm gonna have to worry about. That's gonna come over here. But my team is failing once again. It's been the story of my life. There we go. There's one hit. There's two. Thank God. Ah, come on. Hit him in the right spots. There you go. There we go. Alright, we got some shit going on here. Yeah. Black Prince, can I hit you inside there? Ah! I hit your tracks, but not enough to hurt you. That's alright. Now the reloading. And I've been spotted. I need to go hide. I need to go hide before the Black Prince, like, blows my ass out of the water. Come on, hide. No one can spot us. Thank you, game. I'm just waiting for an Artie show to go boop. Just finish me off. Oh, Jesus Christ. I hope you guys are doing well. I miss you guys. I can't wait to really get back on and start commenting and stuff like that. And I will be able to do that since I figured most of this shit out. I still have problems with it here and there, but in the end, it's not too bad. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. You son of a bitch. I'm going to chase you down. You're going to fucking die. You son of a bitch. Oh my fucking God. No. 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 Damn it. Well, that sucked. Alright guys, 14,247 in silver, 679 in experience points, which really sucked balls. Yeah, I did the most damage out of everybody. The T-71 actually kicked really major ass, so I give him props. We did 2,297 in damage, 14 shots fired, 11 penetrated, so not too bad. Not too bad at all. So we damaged 4 enemies, destroyed 2. So I didn't have the greatest start with this tank today with you know, just dealing with everybody's bullshit. Swear to God, my teams are always fails on ×3 weekends or anything like that. It's just like, are you serious, guys? Like, we didn't have to die, but we did because people are scared to do things or they do stupid things. Anyways, in the end, I really like this tank. I know it looks like a very weak tank, and it is. It is very weak. As you saw at the beginning of this level, I got shot pretty hard and pretty easily and was getting my ass kicked. But once I got into a position where I had control of the situation, where I was able to shoot at people, I did some heavy hits, took some people out. It's just Abbey's not a perfect, great map for this tank. And, there's some maps out there that aren't great for, some tanks, and it's great for other ones. So it's just how it rolls. But anyways, guys, I will be continuing to catch up on my comments and be posting more videos. I have a 3-day weekend coming up, Tuesday night, or Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. I will be continuing to record and post things. We will be back to normal today, pretty much, like today and the rest of this time. The next subscriber party will be in December sometime. Don't know when, probably early parts of December. I'll let you guys know when I know. And then Twitch live streaming. I'm probably going to do something either Monday night or I will start it on Tuesday night. I'm not sure yet. Or I might do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. Who knows? You guys might just get a whole, 3 days of freaking watching me do some Mortal Tanks. I'll try to get Cosmic Carrying and Rush Dodge in there. But anyways, guys, like I said, I've missed you guys a lot. I'm sorry, but, when I get new things in, I have to get them working right away, because if not, I'm going to have problems further down the road. And I sacrificed uploading to get this fixed. Now it's fixed, and we can continue what we're doing and make this channel better and better. I mean, without this machine, I wouldn't be able to live stream. So there is a plus for getting this. Anyways, guys, I'm WizardKen. Until next time, see ya.